Hello everyone, welcome to Rachel Pichler Yoga. Just in case we haven't met before, my name is Rachel. We're keeping things very short and sweet today and we're gonna focus on our hips. So find a little bit of space to move and let's get started. So we are going to begin today in butterfly. So if you want to bring the soles of your feet together, your knees out wide, and then just lean back a little bit. Bring your hands behind you. Lean back a touch, and then maybe you can scooch the hips a little bit closer towards your heels. Maybe walk the hands in a touch, but still lean back a little. And you might kind of move a little bit, maybe a little wiggle of the hips. You could even give the knees a little bit of a bob up and down, a flap. And you don't have to move at all if you don't want to move. And maybe you can scooch the hips just a little bit closer towards your heels. Give your toes a bit of a wiggle. And maybe another flap of the knees. Nice work, you guys. You can continue to lean back. Or you can try to sit tall, tip forwards even, but just see how much the upper body will go forwards without holding onto your legs in any way or pulling on your legs in any way. Just let gravity do it for you. You might take a little bit of a sway. And your diamond might be a bit snugger since we did scooch the hips closer to the feet a couple times. But then we're just going to lift back up and help our knees come together. So give the knees a hug or a squeeze if you'd like. Then we're going to be coming over onto our hands and knees. We're going to set up a lunge. You can decide, well, our right foot's going to come forwards, but you can decide how deep your lunge is. You might be more in a 90-90 position, or you might be bringing the right foot forwards, maybe even the hands to the ground, and then really try to sink into that left hip flexor. Maybe your chest can rest on top of your knee. And then we're just going to send our hips back a little bit. Just come out of the hip flexor for a moment and then come right back in, sinking into the hips. And you might try to slide your front foot and your back knee towards one another. Just a little bit of engagement there. Nothing's moving, but you're just trying to pull everything together. And then relax and see if that hip wants to open, lengthen a little bit more. Nice work, you guys. We are just going to be bringing that right leg back all the way and into our tabletop. Take a sway through the hips if you'd like. And then our left foot's going to make its way forward. So you decide, how deep is your lunge going to be? How far are you going to go into that right hip flexor? Maybe hands to the ground. Sink into the hip. Give your body a chance to soften a little bit. And then maybe you're going to try to slide your front foot and the back knee towards one another. Wake up the legs, try to slide everything together. Hopefully nothing actually moves. Keep that engagement. And then relax completely. Relax completely. See how that right hip, that leg feels when you relax completely. Awesome work. You guys are just going to make our way back into our tabletop. So bring that left knee back. Give the hips a little bit of a sway side to side. And then we're going to slide our right leg forwards. Lay down the shin though. Sink into a pigeon. Getting into the hip, the outer hip. You can lengthen through the spine, push the hands into the ground. If you're lucky, you'll even feel your left hip flexor. Try to lengthen the back leg and try to level the hips as well, so that we're centered, we're balanced. You can take a tip forwards if you want more. You might feel this through your glutes, your outer hip. Be all the way through the right leg. And if you did decide to tip forwards, just lift right back up. And can we bring ourselves all the way into our tabletop again? Give the hips a little bit of a sway. Shake it out. And then our left leg is going to be sliding forwards, setting up your pigeon. So bring some length into the right leg that's behind you. Try to level out the hips. Lift the chest, lengthen the spine. Notice what you feel through the left hip as well as the right. Maybe you'll be folding forwards for a few breaths. Maybe you won't. And if you did fold, just start to come back up all the way into your tabletop. Give your hips a little bit of a sway, side to side. And then widen your knees as wide as you can widen them. Big toes together. Start to lean forwards. Push into the hands to send your hips back towards your heels. Now you can keep your big toes together if you feel your hips, or you can bring some space between your big toes and still sending the hips back towards the heels. You can go wider than that. If the feet want to keep going and the knees want to keep going wider, 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 you might surprise yourself and end up in frog. You can lean forwards onto the forearms. So our knees are nice and wide, our feet are nice and wide. And maybe you're still in child's pose. Big toes together, knees wide. But if you did surprise yourself and somehow end up in frog, surprise yourself and find your way back all the way to maybe the knees coming together, the feet coming together. You might sit back on your heels, lengthen the spine. We are going to sit down again, though, with our legs in front of us. And you can give your knees a hug or a squeeze. Let go of what just happened or what just didn't happen. Take a sway side to side if you'd like. And just notice how your hips are feeling now. It was short, it was sweet, and somehow we made it into frog. Thank you so much for joining me today, though. Enjoy the rest of your day, and until next time, namaste.